Welcome back to Redneck's Dirty Hands. I'm Pete, and today we got part 2 of the Sno-Runner, 1979 Chrysler Sno-Runner. You guys liked the first video, it did pretty good, so I figured this time, gonna do a little bit of an upgrade, or what I think is an upgrade anyway. Was a burnout, baby. So yeah, last video we took this thing off the shelf. I've had it up as wall art for the past, I don't know, like 6-7 years, maybe even longer, maybe 10 years, I don't know. It's been up there a while, had a lot of dust on it, but we pulled her off the shelf, got it up and running. That little two-stroke actually does still run. A lot of you comment, never seen one of these before, ridden one before, and you know, I have. I had a second one, same as this, but you know, we got this one running. The track totally grenaded, like all the plastic paddles are just busted all off of there. So the last one I had, I made an aluminum paddle track for it and took it for a rip. But you know, these things are cool looking. It's a nostalgic vintage kind of piece, but they're not that impressive. I mean, they go pretty slow. I've got an old video of me riding the last one. I'll see if I can clip that in here.
Sno-Runner with a homemade
track. So yeah, I mean, they're cool and everything, but they're slower than molasses. I mean, I could run faster than that, and I don't run. So I mean, at one point, I might do a video of, you know, redoing the original track on this thing and getting it going in its natural glory. But for now, I'm not doing that. We're gonna upgrade that motor and that track system my way, the redneck way, just using whatever junk I got laying around and a couple of new things. I picked up a couple of motors. McLeanski saw there was a deal at Princess Auto there. They were selling off all their little Honda clone motors, so we bought a mitt full of those. So to power this sweetie, we're going to be using this Generac 212. Now that there is basically the same as a Predator 212 you'd find at Harbor Freight, but here in Canada we got Princess Auto. Usually they have the Power Fist model engines, but you know, these are the Generacs. They were on sale. It's a 7.5 horse, you know, typical China Pop, you know, Honda clone or whatever. But best part, $129.99. Like, I can't even take the family to Mickey D's and, you know, treat them to a round of floppy burgers for that kind of money. So yeah, that there is a score. This is going to be the power plant. We might have to do a little bit of an upgrade on it, but yeah, that's what we're going with. Everybody's like, oh, go electric. Yeah, you can't even buy a battery for your snowmobile for less than 129 bucks. And here I got a 4-stroke, 7.5 horse engine, gas powered, for, you know, basically the same cost as 230 packs of Bud Lights. So yeah, that's a no-brainer, man. And now back here in one of my storage sheds, I got the tracks off of my Viking, and you know, those are the back ones. They're pretty wide and flat, but those front ones there, they're a little bit narrower in the tread, and they've got the curves. So I do believe we got a donor track setup right there. All right, so we know what motor we're gonna use for it. We know what track we're gonna use for it. So now's I think the time where we crack open a case of beer, put our drinking caps or thinking caps on, and figure out how we're gonna make this happen. Okay, here we go. So, we're gonna wanna keep it looking stock Sno-Runner-ish, but on steroids. Kind of like instead of looking like The Rock when he first joined the WWE, have The Rock looking now. And this thing, it's only really got the 2 mount points, the 1 pin underneath the seat and then the other pin there for the front ski and the foot peg area. So I think what I'll do is I'll make a rig that utilizes those 2 pinpoints. So technically, we could just unpin this front section, the original section, off and put the original stuff back on at any time. So we're not ruining, for all you guys that say don't touch it, I'm not gonna be ruining the originality of it. I'm making a whole complete unit that we could just slip that old front end on, baby. This right here is one of the ATV tracks, and they're different than the snowmobile ones because they just have the drive cog right in the center, and it's a big, huge drive cog. This here is a snowmobile drive cog. This was off of like a TCAT or Apex or something, I can't remember. But if you line that in there, she seems to work. So that gives me an idea. Now, one of these drive cogs off the snowmobiles is too narrow. There's a lot of movement up in there and you could end up skipping. So what I'm gonna do, that's a complete drive shaft out of a sled. What I'll do is take these off, I'll press them off, I'll machine, get rid of this collar and the cogs on this side, same thing on this side, and then I'll press them right back together nice and tight so it'll take up the clearance in there, and then we'll have the outside drivers. And then I got these flange bearings. This shaft, that's a hex shaft, but where it's originally machined for the original gears, that bearing slides right on. So I'll just turn this down to a 1-inch outside diameter so I could slide those on. Then I can make a rig that I can box that drive wheel in, so I'll have a drive shaft. Then out here I can put a sprocket on one side, brake caliper, rotor on the other side, so there'll be my drive. And then I just gotta, unfortunately, cut apart the well, see, I already did. That was originally part of the track assembly there, so I'm just gonna use the bottom section with all the wheels, and then we'll rig up a drive shaft unit and go from there. So I got a bit of a confession to make. When the creative juices and the wobble pops are flowing, when I get an idea, I just get in go mode and end up like a runaway diesel, you know, there's just no stopping it. So I kind of already mocked up a rig. Yeah, so that's the basic idea, what I came up with. I'll have to give you a go-over of what I did, you know. It's just one of those things. You start wrenching and turning stuff on, I got no time to stop and eat or film, you know. So I'll go over what it is, but I'll show you. We got the engine on there. I upgraded that original 212. I'll show you that, and then we'll go through this. So yeah, we use that motor there for the mock-up. She's looking good and all that. But, I mean, hey, why buy one when you can buy two for half the price? There's a second 7.5 horse from Princess Auto. $129.99, a nice one. I mean, just to buy one, you know, 7 horse or whatever Honda would be double the price of these things. More than that, probably. So, smoking deal, you know, we picked up as many as we could. We'll probably paint that one the Chevy orange and then get rid of that Generac. Unless, you know, hey, sponsor Generac. Hey, we'll probably peel that sticker off and put one of our nice one stickers on there. I mean, I could have got that one all up and running the way it is, but I mean, why work with stock? I got a second engine, so box of goodies. We want to let all the ponies out of the stable, so we're gonna pull this out, yank the governor out of there, and then I got a round slide carburetor, bit of an upgrade, so we'll throw that sucker in there. What else do I got? Fancy filter. Yeah, there's the adapter for the carburetor. And we got a race pipe. Nice one. Loud pipes save lives. So yeah, we got a straight pipe. It's gonna go in place of that sucker. Oh, nice one. I mean, there isn't really a whole lot to these engines, but we're gonna pull the gas tank and the air cleaner assembly off, and this carburetor too. The way these things come shipped new, the fuel line isn't even connected. Like, it's just dangling in the breeze. Get rid of that spring, get rid of that linkage, get rid of that carburetor. Nice one. Now we can see that governor arm there. We're 86 in that fella. So basically, got to pull this cover off here. Ugh. That's what it comes with in there, right from China, I'm guessing. Okay, now I can see the governor. Just pull that fella off of there. Pull this little R-clip. And this arm should slide out of here. Okay, so down in there, there is a plastic kind of cap thing. We got to get that up out of there. And there's a little tiny washer on there. You can't leave any of that stuff in there when you do this, otherwise it'll drop in here and yeah, this becomes a grenade. So we don't need any of that flowing around in there. You never know, something could happen, same thing, something could fall off, get bound up in here, and nobody's smiling anymore. Everybody's just going to Frown Town. So this is ridiculous. Oh geez, I think I got it. Holy moly. Look at that. That right there is the little, I don't know if you can see that. That's the little clip. That is the governor assembly. That's the little clip that you got to get out. That is sitting way down in there around the pin inside. So I got in there and I was able to wedge one side of it with a big wide end flat screwdriver, and then started picking away at the other edge of it with the little screwdriver. Got it to spread out of the way enough to pop her off. Now, just got to make sure there's nothing else left in there. Looks like there is a little washer in there. There we go, a little washer, same thing. You don't want to forget that in there. So now that is governor removal. Oh, this thing's gonna dangle. But I think that pin can stay there. So now we just got to cut the arm off this sucker. And just like that with the grinder, cut that sucker off of there. So now all we got is that post. Tickety-boo. Put the clip back in, and I'm just gonna put this lever back on for now. Now we just got to put this cover back on. We got her patched up, put a little bit of right stuff on her, so now we can zing these bolts back in. Governor delete complete. Nice job, Pete. Now, as far as the carburetor goes, I'm not too sure. So they give us this adapter plate. But that don't work, so we gotta get rid of these studs. Lord, thunder and Jesus, those are tight. That one wasn't so bad. I got no idea if I got the gaskets right. I mean, it didn't make sense, the stuff they sent. I gotta deal with the throttle cable after this. I'm putting a twist grip on it, but the throttle cable I got's too short, I think. But for now, carburetor is on. Now let's get rid of this stock muffulator. Oh yeah, baby. Brand new gasket. Thing hasn't even run, so I don't even think we need to use the new one they send us. Oh yeah. Think you know where I'm going with this. That right there is a what you would call a heterosexual pipe. So that's a straight pipe right there. And then to finish it all off. Wait. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, buddy. That right there, that's the Go Fast setup. So yeah, this is the unit that I made. That's the front track off of the ATV setup there, so you can see how it's got the curved edges, which I figure would be good for the bike setup, so be able to lean. That there is the only real original part of the track setup. I used it for the main rear wheels and then those idler wheels that could just sit there and kind of teeter on there. That's the front axle assembly I made. You can see those drive wheels, how I machined them, put them right tight together so they go in and engage the cogs. I got my bearing blocks on the side there. That there I made so it's kind of like a receiver hitch with that adjuster bolt, so you can slack her off and then adjust it out, push the track tight. I got my, that was going to be another sprocket for playing around with gearing, but when I first put this together, I was like, not going to need any brakes. There'll be enough rolling resistance in this. As soon as you let off the gas, it'll slow itself down. Yeah, no. 2 seconds into my first test rip, I was like, holy jeez, I need brakes. So, yeah, we got, that's just a caliper off of a motorcycle. I'm not sure what it came off of, just had it laying around. So, I got that mocked up on there. All I did was I welded a heavy plate of 1/4 inch to the top side standing right up, and then I got 2 plates sandwiched, bolt them together, bent these tubes, and you can see how thick that tubing material is, so it's good and strong. And then that way this thing's it can all break down, so I can unbolt that, those side arms come off, I can separate the frame unit from the track unit, service anything I need to in there. You know, we got our new motor on there. Nice one. So to pair up the engine with this system, I picked up I think that's a 30 series torque converter unit. So, you know, this thing's like a snowmobile, might as well have the belt drive on there. And I figured it'd be better than one of those little dinky 3/4 shaft automatic clutches there for the go-karts, because, you know, this is going to have a fair bit of weight and rolling resistance. Didn't want to be smoking the clutch all the time. So figured this would be a good upgrade to have for it. And then on this side, I got a 60-tooth drive sprocket. It's got a 10-tooth on here. Originally, the drive sprocket on here is supposed to be on the back side, but I wanted to keep the engine centered on there. I didn't want to hang it off to one side, because then the thing would always want to flop over. So keeping it centered, I just took this all apart, made some shims, moved the sprocket to the outside, shimmed that back clutch out so, you know, the back pulleys are in line, the belt's in line, all that. And then, yeah, keeping this chain and the alignment was a bit of a problem, because now I got the power side. It pulls, this side's always tight, this side slacks off, and I do have movement in there, and that sprocket's coming up. So I had to put this tension on there. That's just like a skateboard wheel or something on there. So that kind of keeps the chain tight from skipping off and leaving town. So I've had a successful test rip out back, going through McLean skis and riding around, and then I also had to ditch that center ski. That was being a pain in the butt. It was constantly wanting to keep this thing going straight. So I just bent up this frame here so I can put the foot pegs on there. You need a place to put your feet. So you keep your feet up front instead of back here getting in the meat grinders. So that's why I put those covers in front of the brake rotor and the sprocket too. So now she just pins there onto the original point like that. And the back of the seat drops in and pins in there. So just got to finish cleaning this all up, and then we'll, yeah, take her for a wrap. And I mean, I'm all about recycling around here. That main frame unit and all that, it wraps all the way around the track down to the bottom there. That was a fire extinguisher rack or something I had kicking around here, and all those panels, they were the things sitting on an angle that you slid your fire extinguishers into, and like, you know what? We don't need that anymore. Like, repurpose it for that, and I think it worked out perfect. Originally, I did have a muffler on here, but, you know, trying to pop stuff, that's the muffler there, and after, like, one test ride, yeah, that broke and fell right off, so, yeah, she's a real loud pipe now. Also, because this thing's the motor's sitting behind the seat now, I needed a really long throttle cable to go all the way from the carburetor back here, all the way up the frame to the handlebar, so, it didn't come with a long one, so I picked up a twist grip assembly, and it came with a cable, and then the carburetor came with a cable. So I just made this bracket here, just a slug of steel with a hole drilled through it, 1/4 of the way through to catch that and stop so it sits in there. And then just took a 1/4 inch bolt, drilled a hole through it, and then slipped the 2 cable ends through, pinch it down with that nut, and now we got a working connected cable. And as much as I didn't think this thing was really gonna need brakes, I thought it would slow down on its own. Why I thought that, I got no idea, but yeah, the first time I took it out for a test drive and then brought it back into the shop, I was like, we'll see how easy the engine fires up when it's warm. And the bugger, you know, whether it's the setup with the carburetor or whatever, it wouldn't start unless you gave her the choke. Well, as soon as I gave her the choke and pulled the cord, this sumbitch took off across the shop and ran into the welding cart. I had it parked over here in the garbage can. So, yeah, almost wrecked her before I even really got to enjoy it. So I was like, yeah, we need brakes on there so you can at least hold the brake when you give her a tug so she doesn't just, you know, take off. Like Bob and Doug McKenzie would say, take off, eh? I've also got 2 different front ski setups. That's like a Simmons Flex ski. It's wider, and it's got the carbides on the outside edge. And then I just got a stock Yamaha. It's like an Apex ski single. Well, actually, it's got a set of dualies on it, but it's a narrower path that it rides on. I figure this one might be better for actually handling, maneuvering like a bike. That one be good for deeper snow. So I've got options anyway. I think we'll run with this one first because, you know, we still don't really have a whole lot of snow outside, and I need something that'll carve in the ice. I still got a bit of paint drying on here, so might as well just take a break. And so one of the most beautiful parts about all this is we're just gonna unpin the stock. Take that pin out there. This is your spark plug wrench. You just pull this sucker. And then with the brake lever and the electrical unhooked, this whole section, there you go. She gone. This is what you're left with. So I basically just made my version of this. So yeah. I got them laid out side by side, the original one versus mine, and you know, there's definitely a size difference. You know, I know the ladies say size doesn't matter, but mine's bigger. So yeah, I might have got a little out of hand with the size of this thing, but it's like Dr. Evil and Mini-Me or something, or Austin Powers and Fat Bastard. But what, like this thing, overall though, like you can kind of see, like there's the original layout, the length of this thing, so it's like basically the same length and everything. It's just, you know, that track's got a little more girth than this one, and you know, the stock itty bitty motor, you know, we got a itty bitty bigger one, and then you know, I got obviously the bigger track on there, but this thing's gonna pin in the same kind of spot there and same up top here. So you know what, I think this is gonna be good, and I might still do something with this, you know, in the future, redo the track and everything on this one, but for now, you know, I'm loving this. And I mean, like, look at it, it's a nice one. I mean, how can you go wrong? So yeah, I say we couple that sucker onto the front of there and get a good walk around on this. Let's just see. Hold our tongue right. Okay, there's the back one. And take this pin here. There we go. Put this little clip in here. Boom, shakalaka. And there you have it. The original sections clipped to the new track sections. It's looking pretty good. So now we just got to take the brake line and handle, put it onto the handle grip, the twist grip throttle, hook it up. We're good to go. Yeah, buddy. We got throttle and brakes. Might as well put the bigger ski. I'm feeling like going with a Yamaha ski off the Apex today, so same thing. Just unpin the original ski, pull it out of there, the sucker in there. Boom, shakalaka. That front ski's a little bit on the long side. I don't know. We'll see how it goes once we get it out ripping. But I mean, look at that. She's a beauty. Looks pretty good. And I got to say, that Chevy engine orange there matches the original Chrysler Sno-Runner orange color, you know, almost perfect. So I made these back panels. Those are actually those trays that the fire extinguishers used to sit on in that rack. I just, you know, put them as track covers. You know, didn't really want the snow flying up and getting all on the air filter and all over the engine and all that. So made them up. Gonna lots of room, real estate there for some stickers. But yeah, this thing is it's it looks unique, that's for sure. I think it looks pretty good. Let me know what you think of it. No kickstand required. I mean, it just sits there. Now, I have had it outside, and it does kind of slightly lean to this side. So, you know, if you're on uneven ground, it will want to tip over or whatever. But when it's on flat ground, you don't have to worry about it. But if it is going to tip over on you, a built-in bonus feature that I didn't even know existed until I tried it. But yeah, I put those foot pegs on there, and the combination of this ski with those foot pegs, and I did not plan this. I just eyeballed the measurement on that. But if you flip the steering all the way around, because yeah, it will, it works out perfect. The ski just tucks in there, grabs that foot peg. You got a built-in kickstand, man. Like that there is solid. that ain't falling over anytime soon. So, bonus. Well, some things are just meant to be. I didn't plan that. It just worked out that way, you know? So the universe was like, hey, good job, Pete. So cheers, universe. I am sure you just want to hear it run. So let's try and fire her up. Now, the kill switch is still mounted on the motor, which I probably should move up to the handlebars. That's on the list of things to do. But yeah, let's give her a tug and see. Now this has driven away on me once before, so I got the brakes on her now, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. So let's give her a tug and see. Get a choke. What do we got here? Sno-Runner by Chrysler. Well, that part might be, but the rest of it ain't. That's by Redneck's Dirty Hands. I think we got one more thing. It's missing something. Oh, yeah, baby. That might have been originally tagged as the Sno-Runner by Chrysler, but now she's the Beer Runner by Redneck's Dirty Hands. Nice one. Look at that, sweetie. And even freshened up the Chrysler on the back of the seat, made her pop with a little bit of white vinyl paint. Look at that. Like, this looks fairly professionally built. I don't know who did it. I sang it before and I'll sing it again. B-double-E-double-R-U-N, beer run. B-double-E-double-R-U-N, beer run. All we need's a bit of snow and some cold ones. I fixed her up and now she's a nice one. B-double-E-double-R-U-N, beer run. I think the universe is looking out for us, because no sooner have I finished the Beer Runner, Mother Nature brought us some snow, so cheers, Southern Ontario. All right, so we might as well take the Beer Runner for a rip now, even though it's got its own gas tank on the little engine there. So this gas tank here is no longer needed. Well, at least not for gasoline. I went and cleaned it out. It's an aluminum tank. It had a little bit of rust and some old gas in there. We did a good washout and all that. So we are gonna top that sucker up with some Fireball. Nice one. Think of this as the, what's those dogs? St. Bernards, you know? You're stranded out in the cold. You need something warm. Yep, the Beer Runner's here to help. I'm sure it'll be fine. You know, some people might think, hey, shouldn't be drinking out of there. You might go blind. But, I mean, I've been doing things that might make me go blind since I was 12, and I can still see, so... Alright, well, thanks for tuning in. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. Let me know what you think of this thing. I think it turned out pretty mint. You know, took the original Sno-Runner, turned her into the Redneck's Dirty Hands Beer Runner. Yeah, she's a nice one now. Oh, feeling a little bit thirsty here. Hey, a little bit of a siphon pump. Yeah, that's a little bit of fireball. Looks like there's some floaties in there. Cheers. As always, take her easy.